realize topic 4, topic 5, and topic 6. So the way we split the topics according to the presentations in the cash flow, and the operating activities, financing activities, as well as investing activities. Okay. So we have discussed in our previous class on the financing activities. Okay. So we look at the how you fund for your business in a way. Okay. Either through issuance of shares. Okay, maintaining the shares, and or to fund your asset through debt. Okay, so assets equivalence to liabilities or debt and honest equity. So we look at the ratios. What is the impact of debt towards firm value, for example, towards who can the risk for debt, the existence of debt will give risk to the shareholders. Okay, because normally the debt, okay, the claim for the debt too, the company have to pay for the debt first compared to shareholders. Okay, shareholders too, they can just wait until all the debt has been paid, and then only they can claim for the assets. Okay, so we continue our discussion to look at the investing activities. Okay, so so can we look at the sample presentation of the financial statements of can you see and can you hear me clearly, my dear students?
Yes, betul.
Yes.
Okay. Wait, Okay, as you can see here, this is the sample presentations of the consolidated statement of financial positions. Yang ni memang biasalah, assets equal to liability plus honest equity. So we have assets here. There are so many assets, for Petronas. So you have PPE, investment property, semua topik ni dah already covered in the like PPE, MFRS 116. You have discussed this in FAR 1, FAR 2, FAR 3 until FAR 4. Investment properties in FAR 2, and then leases FAR 2, investment in associates. Okay, ini pun FAR 2 juga kan? Investments, intangible asset, FAR 1, FAR 2, long-term receivable fund, and other investments. And then you have current assets. Okay, you have equity, and then you have liabilities, deferred tax liabilities, borrowings, and also and also current liabilities. Okay, we have non-current liabilities and current liabilities. So I hope you're familiar with the terms. I don't want you to use, let's say, this tax liabilities. Different tax liabilities tax payable, dividend payable is considered as short term. Okay, within 1 year, you have to clear or pay all these things. Okay, so hopefully you can differentiate all these type of assets. Masa dulu mungkin you learn in details in FAR 2, FAR 3, for example, in terms of investment, okay? Maybe ada investment for short term, investment for long term, for example. Okay? Why? Maybe the different types of investment, such as an investment in actively traded shares ataupun held for sales. So it's depending on the types of assets. Okay, so when you look at this, we talk about an analysis. Okay, bila analysis, we look at different perspective. Okay, you can analyze your balance sheets as well as your income statement, for example. Mana income statement ni? This side by side. Okay, so maybe here the income statement. You have to take some time to explore, to look at the sample presentations of the annual reports, not because you have to do your assignment, but you have to familiarize yourself with this type of presentations, because believe me, when you go out there, you join the market, you work there, and then you need to, it's depending on the types of the industry that you involve. Maybe you go for the audit firm, ataupun a big firms, or maybe you go for the multinational company. So you have to familiarize yourself. You don't have to wait for, just wait for the information or discussion or knowledge during, classroom. Okay, so you have to put some effort to explore ataupun to look at the sample presentations, how it's look like. Okay, yang ni consolidated statement of changes in equity, yang ni belajar juga itu kan. So it's required to prepare ataupun to show the the details about honest equity. So the honest equity inclusive retained profits, yang ni distributable profit, and then reserve, inclusive all these other comprehensive income, and semua yang tak realized profit will be in general reserve, ataupun you can also create fake reserve. Contohnya, if you like to put here as such as apa contoh kalau selalu kita guna for general reserve, ataupun for other comprehensive income, ataupun accumulated other comprehensive income, or a revaluation surplus. Okay, semua ni reserve lah. So it's not, you cannot use this reserve to pay for dividend. Okay, dividend only can be paid using the retained profits ataupun retained earnings or accumulated profit. Okay, and then you have the total dan juga non-controlling interest, and then you have the total equity. This is a sample for statement of changes in equity. And then you have cash flow statements. Okay, cash flow statement, and saya nak show you the cash flow statements. So you familiar with the cash flow statement? You belajar cash flow ni masa bila? The cash flow. Is it FAR 2? FAR 4? Ingat lagi tak? When you, go into detail for this topic. FAR 4 you touch tak? This one. Consolidated statement of cash flows. My dear students, anyone? FAR 1 normally FAR 1 Siti Aisyah kita we prepare this statement of cash flows in FAR 1. Tak ingat dah kot ingat lagi tak? Statement of cash flows. Baik, semua senyap je ni. Do you still remember?
Ingat,
Cash
yes,
flow.
betul.
Di mana?
Ingat, tapi
Okay. Ingat lupa. Tak apa. It's okay. Nanti you kerja pun you kena refer dekat books, dekat buku Bukan boleh kita ingat semua benda. So, but at least you know where to refer and then where to get the informations, and tapi ada some of the information should be on your fingertips. Contoh lah, statement cash flows. You can imagine how it look like. So dia akan ada start from the beginning balance, and then the changes, and then the ending balance. So the contents, the changes is separated between operating activities. Contoh ni lah, cash flows from operating activities, and cash generated from, and then presentation dia ni apa sikit ni. Sekejap. This one operating activities, and then the other side page sebelah ni kot. Okay, and this one for sorry. Macam mana ni? Changes in equity. You pening tengok. Sekejap kita kecilkan lah. I cannot see this one. Okay. This one is changes in equity. This one is consolidated statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. Where is the cash flow? Okay, this cash flow. Okay, for cash flows, is it too small? Okay, so we have here, we can see here you have cash flows from operating activities. Okay. What is cash flows from operating activities? What are the informations that you can present it here? So can someone share with me? So kita ada cash flows from operating activities, and then you have cash flows from investing activities, and then you have cash flows from financing activities. However, for investing as well as financing activities, dia tak buat kat sini, so they don't disclose here, but you have to refer to the notes. Okay, before we go further, in terms of the classification, nanti the next topic will be operating activities, but now we are focusing on the investing activities. Okay, so can you tell me if investing activities, what type of activities yang we refer to be summarized here? Investing, financing, and operating activities. What do you think? So operating activities ni, what can you imagine? What kind of activities that we should present it here? Can you share with me? So can we discuss it now? Anyone?
Doctor.
Yes.
Operating activities is activity that we did to operate the business. For example, it's related something to our business. Like if we like depreciation, right? So we get the money is from we depreciate that. We cash the cash flow is out because we depreciate the PPE.
Okay, so in other words, if let's say it is cash flow, right? If you want to relate with the income statement, operating activities is related to which part in the income statement? Is it related to income statement punya activities? Or statement of profit or loss, if you like to refer as a statement of profit or loss. So what's the difference between cash flow from operating activities? Okay, if you look at this, cash generated from operating activities. How you differentiate this one with profit or net income? This is cash generated from operating activities, right? So how do you relate this with your income ataupun with your profit? How you relate this? Is it we are talking about the same thing or what is all about? Anyone? Do you have any idea? So how you relate the cash flow with income statement? So anyone? Can I call your name and to answer the questions? Boleh ke? Are you ready? Can someone help me to explain how you relate with the cash flow from operating activities, let's say. So how you relate the cash generated from operating activities with the profit or income? Siapa nak try? Alifah, is it Alifah here?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, Alifah, what do you think, Alifah?
I think for cash generated from operation, it's clearly stated.
Sorry, again?
Cash generated from operation, about the cash that we get from the nature of our business.
So how you relate with the profit, for example? So this one 10,790 kan you tengok also. You generated cash from the activities amounting 10,790. If let's say you look at this, mana tadi? Statement of cash flow, statement of other comprehensive income, this one. Yang ni kan? Okay. Okay. So now I'm referring to this. Okay, how you differentiate this profit? But you get the operation, you are referring to this, right? When you talk about operations, you are referring to the income statement, right? So how you differentiate this? Profit for the years is stated here, 40,472. However, if you refer to the cash flows, it's 10,000 only. So, Alifah.
Because in the statement of in the income statement, kita dah tambah 9, macam contoh depreciation tu kan macam 9 money dia
Non-cash.
non-cash
Non-cash item. Okay.
non-cash item.
So basically, how you prepare the income statement in the first place? So if you are referring to the conceptual framework, you use what basis to prepare the income statement? I mean, in terms of recording the transactions, the revenue recognitions, the expense recognitions. Are you referring to the basis, cash basis or accrual basis?
For the income statement, all accrual basis.
That's why that is the manual. So I agree with you because when you prepare the income statement, if you are referring to your conceptual framework, kita guna assumption, guna accrual basis assumptions. Okay, so in terms of the standards that has been developed, so they are using the accrual basis, and in terms of the recognitions, contohnya lah, for example, apa contoh? In terms of the revenue recognitions, kan, when you perform a service but you don't receive the cash yet, but you will consider as your revenue, am I right? Tapi you don't receive cash and you consider as an account receivable, but in your revenue you will consider in this income statement but not in your cash flow, kan? That's why when you prepare the cash flows for operating section, kan? Operating section, only for operating section, you can see ada two methods. Okay, kalau you still remember lah, ni senang nak refresh balik lah what you've done before. Boring pula dengar, you dah belajar banyak kali kan. So it's actually, macam ni dia guna apa? Direct method ke indirect method? So only for operating activities, you have two methods to prepare lah, indirect or direct method. However, for investing and financing activities, sama je which method you use, it will be the same. Tapi for okay, should lari this one. So if you use direct or indirect method, I mean the changes at the end of the day it will be the same, net cash generated from operating activities. However, what's the difference between the two methods if you still remember? Indirect method or direct method? Can someone share with me? Boleh ke? Ingat lagi tak? And you all kena ingat dah ni. Tak ingat you kena tahu dah. Everything should be on your fingertips, this one. Because this is the main apa nak cakap this information should be I mean maksudnya you all kena tahu lah. In other words, macam cash flows consist of what, and then of other methods. Benda-benda macam ni it should be on your fingertips. But some of the other sometimes standards method nak guna how you calculate, that one you can refer to your books. Tapi kalau benda-benda macam ni, let's say during interview atau when you go into the workplace, you join as a apprentice ke ataupun you join sebagai young trainee, you kena familiar lah. I mean you should familiar with these terms, and for the financial statement presentation, for example, before you can analyze, definitely you need to familiarize yourself with the format and in terms of how they present it. Okay. Okay, ini method apa ni? Siapa boleh, I mean, is it indirect method or direct method? Siapa ingat? Anyone? Indirect. Michelle, indirect ke? Indirect lah, because you start with profit before taxation. Okay, you come back to you try to link your cash flow from operating activities with income statement. Kan? Income statement tadi 40,000, am I right? 40,000 tu is after tax. I mean the amount is bigger than that. Okay, you are referring to the profit before tax. Now you want to, tadi 47 kan? So you want to prove that, okay, you start with the profit before taxation, and then out of this amount, only 10,000 cash collected from this profit, okay, for that year, for that period. Okay, so you start with the profit before taxation, and then you will adjust for a non-cash item. Contohnya depreciation, loss on derivation atau net changes in fair value. Net changes in fair value you will record yang ni apa ni, receivables. Okay, you immediately recognize the profit, you have to put, you have to add back contohnya lah, because it is add back ataupun minus. If you put profit ke atas, you kena minus here. If you put expenses like depreciation in your income statement, you have to add back. So means that what are you trying to do here is to remove all non-cash item, just maintain the cash item here. Okay, that's why you prepare like this. And contohnya ni, you start to classify in your income statement. In terms of presentation, you put together all the interest income, okay, interest income and financing costs, for example. Okay, now you may need to report separately in different section. Kalau in that case, you can add or minus balik and then present it in other section. Okay, ada some of the item here you nak remove a non-cash item, and some of the item need for a reclassification, whether to be considered as operating or other types of activities. Okay, sama ada investing ke, financing ke. Okay. Boleh ke? Ingat dah sikit-sikit. Okay, so kena ni lah, kena challenge yourself. So you have to test your understanding as well. So at least you have to look at, kalau you rasa, okay, well, you still tak familiarise with this thing, lepas exam you throw away your book, you put aside, and then you don't take it, macam mana tak, you cannot map what it's all about, cash flow dan sebagainya. So you have to look into it. You have to put some effort to get all the this knowledge and to familiar with the terms and the presentation of the financial statements before you go for the practicum training. Kan you nak pergi practicum training, is it next semester? Ke belum? Another semester.
Next
Your
year.
semester berapa ya? Next year. So you are in sixth semester now, yeah? Okay lah, you kena start challenge yourself, tengok annual reports. Tak mau when you go there, you memang belajar, nanti you kata yang belajar okay, you lupa. But the problem is macam tak pernah tengok, tu I worry. Okay, so you have to train yourself to familiar with the terms and all. Okay. Okay, now why I should come back to these cash flows, for example, because what we discussed in our previous class, like financing activities. Okay, you should know what kind of financing activities that been presented here ataupun classify here as financing activities. Maksudnya what kind of transaction to be considered as financing activities, and this what kind of transaction to be considered as operating activities, as well as investing activities yang kita nak belajar in this topic. Okay. So now investing activities and financing activities, notes number 31 and 32. Let's look at the notes. Kita tengok notes. Notes number 31. And how do you feel? Are you able to write all these notes Nanti bila you join the company, saya pun mungkin tak pandai nak tulis all these notes ya. So this one pun you kena train yourself. That's why we always ask you to do group assignments, write, analyze, so that it will train yourself to be prepared for your, to ready for your job to join the job market. Okay, let's look at this investing activities. Okay, dia buat notes kat sini so that you can go to this. They disclose in the notes to the financial statement. Notes pun consider as part of the ni juga information. Tapi if you are referring to the standards, MFRS 116, kalau yang kita ada assets PPE, you should know macam PPE. The amount of PPE definitely should be presented in the body of the statement of financial position. Okay. Cuma ada some of tu dia kata okay, either in the body or in the notes to the financial statement. Okay, that one also should be considered in terms of disclosure, because notes to the financial statement bukan saya saja tulis sometimes it's required from the standards. Okay. Ini contoh example of the investing activities. Okay, if you look at these investing activities, so what's this all about? Apa ni? Apa types of activities yang you nampak kat sini? Okay. Anyone? Boleh? Boleh try? Siapa nak cuba? Alifah dah. Hazril ada? So can you conclude based on these presentations of investing activities, what kind of activities that should be considered under investing activities? Hazril, are you there? Lau, Jilin? Hazril ke tu? Who likes to try just now? Is it Jilin?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you understand from this type of investing activities? Activity apa?
I think the investing activity is related to the portion of long-term asset in balance sheet.
Long-term assets.
Yeah. For example,
Can you see and look at this example? Kat mana you nampak this one?
for example, the acquisition of subsidiary and the investment in associate joint venture, and also the purchase of PPE.
Purchase of PPE masuk juga
Yes.
Purchase, yes. Okay. So kalau in the balance sheets as well as income statement, can you imagine the information provided in both statements? Dekat mana information tu? You can detect the information. Let's say purchase of property, plant and equipment. Where can you get this information? How you communicate with the users with regards to the purchase of property, plant and equipment?
Refer to the notes.
Okay, the notes or body of the statement of financial position, in which part? For purchase of property. So by looking at the information, you will get some knowledge, isn't it?
Yes.
Is it dekat PPE?
Yes.
by looking at the PPE, you may notice that, okay, well, the value of PPE. Betul tak?
Yes.
And then if you look at the notes to the financial statements, it will detail up the purchase ataupun the beginning balance. Betul tak?
Yes.
Okay, purchase of property, plant and equipment. So how you differentiate the amount presented here in the cash flows and the amount presented in the balance sheet? Ada tak dalam income statement? Purchase of property information.
Income statement only contain the gain or loss on disposal for the PPE.
So masih ada lah the information here and there, isn't it, that you should consider when you calculate the investment. Okay, it will affect the cash flow as well, isn't it? So now you can map. You can get the information. If let's say you just referring to the information provided in the balance sheet, you just can see on the body of the statement of financial positions the total amount of PPE. Betul tak? And then if you're referring to the notes, you can see the beginning balance, additional, normally they will just put the additional purchase for the year, and then depreciation, accumulated depreciation, you'll get the ending balance. And so you need some other information with regards to cash flow, how much you spend on the PPE. So you just can get the information in the cash flows. Okay, so basically, if you are referring to the assets, assets, oh, I cannot write here. Tak boleh tulis ke tulisan? Wait. Belum boleh tulis kat PowerPoint je. Okay, so if you're referring to the assets equal to liability plus honest equity, so if you claim that you have an asset, okay, so for investing activities, seolah-olah is you put away all the operating activities. Okay, operating activities, normally you purchase your, let's say, merchandise, and then the process of purchasing the merchandise and then also selling of the merchandise means that that is your main agenda. So how to get profit depending on these activities, operating activities. However, if let's say you have extra cash ataupun you nak extra income besides the profit generated from the nature of the business, okay, main operations. So you may use your cash, for example, ataupun your assets to acquire additional shares. Mestilah when you go for investing activities, with aim in your mind is profit, isn't it? Okay, kalau operating activities, you also aim for the profit, but is your major operation. But this one, other than that, where can create the value added as well. Okay, let's say you invest into invest into shares. Definitely, the company will pay you dividends. Ataupun you invest into other types of investment, so kita akan consider as the benefits to us as well. Tapi untuk PPE, in terms of the benefits, let's say you invest into property as well, tapi benefit dia it comes through different punya benefits lah. So let's say you purchase a new machines, okay, to help your operation kan, main operation nak produce or whatsoever. So it will increase it will help to increase your profit as well. So this type of activities will be considered as investing activities. Okay, you kena familiar dulu dengan what is investing activities before we continue with the topic. Okay, and the other one is 32 is related to the financing activities. Financing activities ni apa pula? So how you fund your activities as well. Okay, kita kata assets equal to liabilities plus honest equity. So in this case, used for financing activities. Okay, you nak tengok cash in terms of movement in cash. So it can be for Petronas, for example. Okay, you ada notes and bonds, bank overdrafts. Okay, dividend paid. Okay, dividend paid is presented here. You bayar dividend kepada you punya shareholders. Okay, to be considered as financing activities as well. So maksudnya debt dan juga honest equity. Okay, so this is for borrowings. Okay, and then inilah contoh dia. So you can see all this related ataupun in other words debt dan juga equity lah. So it will be presented here. Kalau yang tadi you focusing on the other types ataupun long term assets untuk investing activities. Maksudnya assets lah, investing more on the how you get the assets. This one, how you fund the activities, using the resources there. Resources either debt or honest equity. Okay. Ini ada masuk list liabilities dan sebagainya. Okay, changes in foreign exchange rates. So, macam inilah nanti you nak kena buat income statement and so on, ataupun you have to audit and to suggest the presentation of the financial statement. Ni pun semua you boleh belajar. I mean, definitely you cannot come out with this thing, isn't it? So you have to go and learn. The very important thing is that when you go into the company as a new young workers ataupun staff, you may need to ask them. You may need to learn a lot, okay, to train yourself. However, you need to know where to get the resources. You need to know the mapping ataupun tahu financing activities tu macam mana. But the problem is only how to classify this, how to get this information. But in general, you need to know. You need to know the very basic idea what is operating activities, financing activities, as well as investing activities. Okay, please make sure before you go for your practical training, ask yourself, test yourself. Just go and look at the annual reports, and if you don't understand, means that you need to find the information. And even though if you go for the practical training, you still can contact your lecturer in case you. Sometimes students when they go there, they maybe they don't even contact to. Apart from the reports, okay, you can also ask for assistance, okay, in terms of this and that. Okay, kalau boleh tolonglah, because kita pun ada limited juga knowledge on this, and if you can share, so you can discuss. Okay, ada soalan lagi ke on this before we continue? 9:20 dah. Okay, so we continue with. Boleh dapat gambaran tak sikit? What is investing activities? Boleh ke, my dear students? Hello.
Boleh, Doktor.
Boleh, are you still here? It's so hard, I cannot see you, and I just talk to this computer. Okay. So basically, what we've discussed just now, investing activities, okay, maksudnya includes acquisition of long-term tangible and intangible assets or disposition of assets. Okay. Termasuk juga investment in long-lived operating assets, tangible fixed assets, and also investment in the securities of other firms. Okay. Color dia tak ni. Oh, not this one. Tak apalah, ni this one boleh betul. Okay, so I think the rest of the topic will come back to what you've learned before. Kita tengok balik what you've learned before related to the acquisitions of PPE, investment. Dulu you belajar and let's say for one, Alpha 2 with the PPE. In FA 1 you belajar in terms of the initial recognitions. In FA 2 you continue with the subsequent measurement. Maksudnya apart from recognize for initial recognitions, you learn how to record at the end of the year, whether to use the cost method. Maksudnya you will report the carrying amount in terms of the net book value, ataupun you need to go for the revaluation method. Okay, the same things apply for, let's say, investment in properties. Okay, normally kita akan guna fair value. Kan? So you familiar with this. Okay, so kita akan come back and look at this to get some ideas what you have learned before. So in this case, accounting for acquisition of property, plant and equipment. And then kita ada apa lagi? Ini semua assets acquisition of the assets. And then ni banyak you dah belajar semua ni kan, investment. And then that one is so can I ask group boleh ke to lead discussion for next class? Kita ada next class apa cuti dah kan? Oh well, cuti 9. The whole week you cuti for Hari Raya, right? Hello.
Yes, Hari Raya Kak.
Yes, betul.
So, can we make it on Monday? Boleh ke? Just the two groups going to lead discussion like what I've discussed just now. Satu acquisition dan related to the investment in assets, and the other one investment in shares, for example. So kita lead discussion untuk hari tu, we will discuss on that issue. So it's supposed to be group apa? Kita dah present sampai group 4 kan?
Yes,
And
betul.
group 5 and group 6. So you just lead discussion sampai takat yeah, so we will discuss on this. So the rest will also give some inputs, including me, so that we make the discussion tu jadi fruitful discussion. Okay, so what I want you to do is for group 5, you continue with the let's say investment in assets. Okay, yang kita discuss just ni tadi. Ini kita punya sequence ya. Relevance of current assets as well as cash management. Okay. Analyze intangible asset. Describe investment in securities. Okay, tak apa, you tak payah refer ni sangat. So, what I want you to do is to first, kita tengok investing in long-term tangible and intangible assets ataupun dalam PPE lah. And then the other one, investment in long-lived operating assets ni macam machine ke apa kan. So the other category of investment. Satu untuk PPE, and the other and also intangible assets, and the other one, let's say, investment in other types of categories, including investment in securities. Okay, you focus on this ni lah. Investment in security to other firms. Just nak ingatkan balik je what you've learned before. Boleh ke? Group 5 and 6? You boleh refer kat Wahlan lah. Okay, you're busy dah dengan start nak hantar all the assignments and so on. Group 5 and Group 6, siapa je ada kat sini wakil? Can you do that? So this notes extracted from Wahlan, so you bolehlah buat, mungkin no need to go for many slides, cuma kita nak discussion apa yang you faham from that. Okay, Group 5 ada kat sini tak wakil? Group 5? Anyone from Group 5?
Okay, Doktor.
Boleh ya? Okay. Group 6? Group 6 mana Group 6? Anyone from Group 6?
Saya group 6.
Boleh ya Hazlani?
Okay. Okay.
Cuma lead discussion je. Kalau saya seorang bercakap tu saya tahu dah. You all pun dengar je kan. So at least if you discuss in your group and to lead discussion, so I'm happy lah. Okay, so kita stop kat sini dulu lah kot ya. Any questions?
Betul.
Yes.
Yang dalam portal, Doktor bubuh slide untuk chapter 4 tu 2 kali.
Oh ya ke?
Ke Doktor salah urut? Doktor ingat Doktor bubuh chapter 5 kot. Tapi Doktor tu bubuh chapter 4. Tak tahu lah sebab ada 2 slide yang sama.
Yang lain ke benda yang sama?
Benda yang sama.
Oh, nanti saya report kan? Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Okay, so I think kita akan jumpa after Hari Raya. So I wish you selamat Hari Raya di rumah. Okay, so jaga kesihatan lah because you all nanti nak exam semua. Jangan don't beraya sangat. Cuma so itulah selamat Hari Raya dan jaga diri lah. Take care all of you. So I wish you all the best. So if anything, so please do not hesitate to contact me through WhatsApp group. Okay. So see you next class.
Thank you, Doktor. And selamat Hari Raya.
Okay, Doktor. Selamat hari juga, Doktor.
Okay, thank you. Alifah, so add manually. Okay. Yang the rest scan for attendance.